Hey y'all, welcome back to another show. I am your host, Angela at Hodgepodge with Angela. This is a podcast if you're listening to it over here on Spotify or Apple, but if you're watching it here on YouTube, of course, it's a video. And I'm doing it both ways just because I want to. A lot of people, well, why are you posting your video? Your podcast is a video. Well, because I kind of want to. I want y'all to see, and I want you to be able to see my facial expressions when I talk because I can be very expressive from time to time. So, anyway, welcome to the show. Couple things I want to talk about today. Couple things being things that I've been working on for myself in 2023. But before I get into the show today, I want to talk about, have you guys just taken a look around your neighborhoods at things that may be blooming or checking out all the flowers and stuff that are blooming? I walked outside a while ago with Riley and things are just really starting to bloom. Next door, there's a ginormous Bradford pear tree that's starting to bloom and it's so pretty blooming. Once upon a time, I wanted a driveway with nothing but Bradford pears on the side of the driveway leading up to my house, but that was just a dream or a nightmare, depending on how you want to look at it. But so everything's so pretty, everything's starting to bloom. Our garden, I have a video of what it looked like a couple months ago. And then once it starts blooming, I'm going to post another one. And once it gets full bloom, I'm going to post that. So stay tuned for that. But what I want to talk about today is a couple things that I'm doing for myself in 2023. And I know that we're into March. If you're watching this as soon as released, this is a March post. If you're watching it 6 years down the road, this is a March 2023 post. And a couple things that I'm doing this year for myself. One is I'm trying to be more intentional with everything that I do. And I got to keep reminding myself of that because I do lose sight of doing things with intent. Usually my diet's always a big thing that I just kind of let fall by the wayside. And I need to do better about that because I'm overweight, I'm old, and I do want to be around for my nieces and nephews and my dogs and my husband and my family. But so I do need to be more intentional with that. And it's just so hard. Oh my gosh, trying to lose weight. And I'm going to be straight up honest with y'all. I don't want to exercise. I have exercised my whole life pretty much. I remember exercising at like 13, getting up in the morning and watching Denise Austin. Do y'all remember Denise Austin? I would get up and watch her, and Gilad from Hawaii, I would get up and watch him. And I remember doing that before school, and I have exercised my whole life. Pretty thin at some points of my life due to taking diet pills and not eating, and prescription diet pills. Nothing crazy, but it was prescription diet pills. And at one point, I wanted to compete. I wanted to be a figure competitor, not bikini, but figure or physique or whatever. And so I started training for that probably about 6 years ago now, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And I just got so burnt out on it. I mean, I wasn't eating. My trainer, which this trainer I would never recommend, but she had me eating like 800 calories a day. I was in the gym sometimes 3 and 4 hours a day, and it was just a nightmare. And I think that really did a toll on me. And by the time I moved on to another trainer in the area, if anybody's looking for a good trainer, you can let me know and I can tell you who it is. But by the time I moved on to him, I think the damage was done. And I wanted to keep doing it. And, he told me that there was a lot of work internally we needed to do, mentally we needed to do, because that other trainer had really just, she just, and it wasn't just me, it was anybody that worked with her. We would talk about it. It was all the same thing. And she was never trained. We should have done due diligence before we went with her. But 800 calories on 3-hour workouts a day was just not good. And it was something I wanted so badly that I didn't pay attention until my body's just like, can't do it anymore. And once that happened, I just sort of gave up. I didn't work out anymore. Well, I did try to go to the gym and stuff like that. But I just really didn't want to do it anymore. I had no desire, even to walk the dogs. I don't want to walk the dogs, and I know they needed to be walked. But anyway, I don't know how I got on that tangent. But I do want to be more intent with things this year. And I have my cool planner that I want to show y'all, because y'all know I'm all about planning. And if you watch the channel, you'll see this later on. But this is my planner that I'm using right now. And I had the word, this was a second-hand planner that I bought, and it had words here already. And I didn't like those because it just didn't suit. But so I had to make this, and that says intent. So that's my word for the year. And it should be my word all the time. And I just look at it and remind myself that I do want to do everything with intent. Which leads me sort of to the point of the podcast today is patience. I struggle so much with being patient. And Hubby B tells me all the time, if you would just calm down and be more patient, your life would be so much better, because I am so quick to react. And I never used to be that way. I don't know if because my lifestyle is, all like this now, whereas before when I was traveling, I was always waiting at the airport, always waiting, to get the rental car place, or always waiting, it was just always waiting. So I think my patience, always sitting in traffic. So my patience, I had worked up, and my patience was so much better back then. But lately, and I'm 52, and, they say people can't change, but this is something I really have to change for myself, because when I get so impatient, I can see myself, sorry, there was a text came in, the dogs are at the groomers. I can see myself just, getting so stressed over things, and I want to be more patient. And so at church on Sunday, it was like, God was talking to me, because our message was about patience. And this is a verse, and I didn't write the whole verse down. I just wrote down the important part of it. This is, see if I can read it. I don't have my glasses on because they were shining in my my camera here. But let me find it. In James chapter 1 verse 19, the verse basically says you need to be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. And it was funny, right before we're doing a study at church on the book of James. And my husband, Hubby B, before the sermon started, he saw that pop up on the screen of the quick Bible verse to James 1:19. And he says, that's what you need to do. And I feel so bad, because I don't want him to feel that I'm just so impatient, or that I'm quick to anger. I don't want that. I've never been that way. And it's just something that has happened over the last couple of years. And I don't really know if working from home has changed that, or if just, I no longer have to wait for anything. And I don't know if when I do have to wait for something, that's what does it. I don't really know. If you have some insight, please post them in the comments below. But, or you can call me on the hotline at 404-939-7720. But it's just so weird, because we were talking about the being patient at church, and I'm like, okay, that's something that I need to work with intent. And I need to make sure that, I try to work on my patience. And don't complain. And complaining was another thing. And I complain about being impatient and things that happen that lead me to being impatient. And I was on my way to an appointment the other day, and I left in plenty of time to get to my appointment. And I'm driving down the road, and it seems like I get caught by every red light. Every slow person from here to my appointment had to be in my lane. And if I moved over to the other lane, it's like, okay, now this person's being slow. And as I'm sitting there and I'm driving, and I'm like, okay, when I get to my appointment, I'm going to be a bundle of nerves, because I'm going to have been so impatient with these drivers. And then I thought, it was just like a calmness came over, because I was like, God, don't let me complain about it. And, it's like, I don't want to go into my appointment being complaining. And I don't want to be known for that. I don't want to be known for the person that every time I walk into the building, I'm complaining about something. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be a complainer. I don't want when people see me say, oh, what's she going to complain about today? Or what's she going to gripe about today? I do not want to be that person. I don't want to be known for that person. So another thing of intent for me this year is to practice patience. And I know that we're already into March, but we can always work on ourselves and improve ourselves. I don't have to start everything with intent in January 1st. I can do it at any time of the year. But that's something that I'm working on too, because part of the message at my church on Sunday was, watch your patience and don't complain about things. And I wish I had my notes in here so I could go over some of it with you. If you guys are looking for a good, if you don't live in the same area that I do, my church is online and it's really good. I just love my preacher so much. I've changed churches in the last year. The other church I was going to was all about prosperity. I'm just going to say it. And that's not something that I want. I don't want that in my church life. So, but I love my church now. And it's so good. My pastor's young. And he's just really good. So, but anyway, I feel like that I really have to stop. Like the other day going to my appointment. And I was like, okay, God, just give me the patience. I don't want to walk into this appointment complaining. And it was just like, and the only reason I'm telling y'all about this now is because I'm not complaining. Please don't see this as complaining. It's just something that I wanted to just share, because I think a lot of times that we do have to ask God to help us with these certain things. We can't do everything by ourselves, even though we would like to. I had to ask God, okay, give me the patience, help me to not be so anxious with this, take a few breaths. And I have a devotion that I get every morning on my cell phone. And a lot of times in the devotion, it'll say, just take a moment to stop and breathe. And if you want good devotions, there's an app called YouVerse, and I'll post it in the comments or in the description box. But you can sign up for different plans, or you can just have prayer every day. And a lot of times in the prayer, it'll tell you just to stop and take a few breaths. And sometimes that does a world of good. Like if I'm sitting at my desk working and I feel myself getting anxious or something happening, I'll just take a moment. Take a couple deep breaths, and sometimes that's all you need. But a lot of rambling here today. I did want to mainly talk about, another thing that I've added to my intent list for 2023. I'm trying to be more intent with everything. Like I'm trying to be more intent with books I'm reading, my crocheting, because you guys know that if you followed me, I'm doing a lot of donating crochet items, hats and blankets, and I'm still doing that. So I'm definitely making sure that that stays intent and on the forefront. And, just being intent, mindful, I guess to me would be kind of interchangeable right here, because everything I do, I'm being more mindful about it. My goal is to crochet a certain number of items a month. And if I see myself not making that goal, then I've got to definitely step up the intent to get it done, because I want to get it done. I want to make sure, okay. Sorry, text messages about my dogs. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this rambling. If you have anything that you're working on this year, drop it in the comments below. If you're a prayer, let's pray for each other, that, pray for me and my patience, because it is something I struggle with. And if you have anything you'd like me to pray about for you, just drop it in the comments below, and I'll definitely add you to my prayer list. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this rambling. I hope you'll come on back. I hope you'll share this. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe. If you'd rather listen instead of watch me and my crazy expressions, you can always head over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and listen there. So have a good day, y'all.